I bet a lot of people started their Blair Witch reviews like this. What's up, everybody? Back today to talk about the Blair Witch Project from 1999, an important found footage horror film, I believe, in the genre. If you look at the timeline, you have your first found footage film, which is Cannibal Holocaust. You go down the line of quite a few years, and then you come to the Blair Witch, and that got the ball rolling quite a bit. And then by the time Paranormal Activity came out, it went off basically like a nuclear weapon, and you know, you have one every 5 seconds coming out. But let's talk about the Blair Witch, because I think it's one of those movies that kind of set the style that we're used to, definitely for found footage. The film came out in 1999, and it was directed by Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez. Both filmmakers went on to do more horror films. I believe Eduardo Sanchez has probably made the better films as time has went on. Definitely, I've liked them more. You know, he did Altered, Exists. He worked on the VHS movies, so I like his work, definitely. I've also seen some of the other guys' work. He did the sequel to the Blair Witch movie, which was the Blair Witch 2, The Book of Shadows, or whatever it's called. And, you know, I don't know how this third movie is going to tie into the first two, but it sounds like it at least ties into the first one. And this one is about three filmmakers that go into the woods, basically to look and kind of research the Blair Witch. And the film starts off pretty well. It begins with them interviewing some townspeople. I believe it's in Maryland. And, you know, they're talking about the Blair Witch. And I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's fake or whatever. I don't know if it has the story has any roots in real history or anything. But when the film originally came out, they kind of promoted it that it was real. So that was one of the big marketing things about this movie. And you probably don't remember that unless you saw it in the theater like I did. But it was like a big marketing thing that it was found and really found footage and all that crap. So I don't know how much, if there's like a real Blair Witch legend or anything, but they basically go to this town. We get to hear some different stories, different points of views from different townspeople. That kind of sets up, you know, the story and our imagination. And then the filmmakers go in the woods. They proceed to get lost. All hell breaks loose. And, you know, the big thing about this movie I always liked was the ending. But let's get into the good and the bad. First of all, the ending. It has like one of the most craziest endings ever. It's a very simple ending, but it sticks with you because that's the only thing I ever remembered from watching it the first time in theaters was that ending. Very creepy, and it leaves it in your imagination what the hell happened at the end of this movie. Of course, that's a good thing about this movie too, is it builds so much tension. You never really see anything. There's hints, and you know, that takes me into something else that's good, is the sound in this movie. When I originally saw the film, I probably didn't appreciate it for all these things, but you know, watching it again last night, I dissected it a little better, and I did appreciate the sound because, you know, they're sitting in their tents, they're all scared, they're lost in the woods, they're already arguing with each other, and then they hear this creepy crap in the woods, they hear their buddy screaming, they're calling to him, but he's not answering, and then they find some crap later, shows that someone's been in their camp, and, you know, just they're lost in the woods, and the tension's mounting. You know, it leaves it in your imagination. You don't really see much. You get some setup from the townspeople about what the Blair Witch did, or, you know, the legend, and then once you go into the woods, all you do is hear stuff, and you imagine this thing creeping around maybe in their camp and stuff like that. And that's kind of how the movie really works. But let's get into the bad things. A lot of yelling. It's a lot of, Heather, Josh, Mike, just yelling. It gets you kind of annoyed, and it kind of works on a good level because you're annoyed like the characters are supposed to be. So it kind of works like that. But at the same time, it's a lot of yelling, a lot of, you know, running around the woods, arguing, stuff like that. And there's some good dialogue. There's a good scene between, I think it's Mike and Heather, where he's telling her, you know, we're all gonna die, and, you know, she's kind of having the mental breakdown, and that's good stuff. Stuff I could appreciate on the second viewing a little more, but it does get slightly annoying, and you're always expecting more. I'm the type of person I expect a little more action and blood and gore in my movies. You know, that's a personal preference. I can see how this one works. This one's all like, I wouldn't say subtle, but it's just like in your head. It's like, what the fuck's out in those woods? It's the personal paranoia between the, you know, group of people that works. But like I said, borderline annoying. And so that's about it. I mean, there isn't really too many bad things. If you don't like found footage, you're probably not going to like this movie because it's like the prototypical classic found footage movie. A lot of talk, a lot of shaky cam, and nothing really happens. I think it's worth sitting through to the end because the ending is so good. I think when they make this third film that looks actually really good, I think it's gonna make the first one even better because it seems like the first one, you know, was just there to kind of set up the legend. Like I said, the second film, I've only seen it once. It's done like the typical Hollywood film. You know, not the style of found footage, and I don't remember it too well at all, so I'm assuming it's not that good. But my final score for the Blair Witch, I've rambled on long enough. The Blair Witch Project is gonna get 3.5 out of 5. I think that's perfectly fair. I was going to do a 4 because it could really be a 4 because it's a classic film in the horror genre. But just personally on my level, it works on a lot of things, the tension, the paranoia, but, you know, nothing happened really till the end. And even then, nothing really happens. It's just the end sticks in your head like a, you know, brand. So I think the end is super strong. The beginning where they set up the legend's pretty good. The tension's good, but expect a lot of yelling and not much to happen. So that takes me to the end of the video. If you've seen the Blair Witch Project, and I'm sure you have, comment down below. Tell me what you thought. Did I ramble on too long on this video? It looks like it's getting up to 6 minutes. But yeah, I'll be back next week with my review of the new Blair Witch movie or whatever it's called. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.